Hi everyone, this is Joey Suarez, aka Griswold Delaware. I'm here to answer your questions, your Q&A that you submitted on my Facebook Griswold Delaware and also on my Griswold Delaware group. I am Joey Suarez. I am 36 years old. Actually, my birthday is December 18th, which is tomorrow. I'll be the old age of 37 years old. I work for Honda of America Manufacturing in Marysville, Ohio. I work at our mother plant, which produces the Honda Accord, Acura TLX, Acura ILX, and Honda CR-V. Also the Accord Hybrid. I have been with Honda of America for 18 years. I started at 18 years old. I was 1 month out of high school when I started Honda. My position there is new model development, and it's a pretty cool job. I'm a team leader new model, and I get to see cars before they even come out and none of you know about yet. Okay, so let's jump in this Q&A and answer some of these questions that you submitted.
Amy Sparks asks, where do you store all of your lights and decorations? We were trying to imagine how much space it must all take up, and how are your lights not all tangled like a mess every year when you start?
All my lights are stored on a unfinished part of my basement. It's about a 250 square foot room. All my lights are actually stored in tubs that are marked very precise of where they go. It is the easiest way to keep everything in order and in line, and it's easier for takedown and then obviously putting back up.
Monica Roberts asks, how early do you start putting the lights up, and do you do it all by yourself, or do you have a team of friends or family that helps you?
I started October 1st, and the lights took me 235 hours total to complete. I do the display 100% myself. The whole month of October, I took every Friday off from work, so I worked on it from sun up to sundown, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Throughout the week after work, I would work on it for a few hours between 4 and 9 p.m. Before it got dark. And like I said, this display is 100% put up by myself only.
Michael Watson asks, what improvements do you want to make for next year?
Michael, I would like to probably upgrade the roof to LED lights and then use the roof lights that I have now and actually cover the grass. The next few years is going to be kind of slow with my improvements because LED lighting is very expensive. This year alone, I spent close to $5,000 on my display, and as you can see, all I really did was buy new LED wall lights, which cost me around $3,000, and the archway lights cost me about another $1,000, and plus supplies and other things, I had about $5,000 into my display just for this year.
Katie Neely asks, how long does it take for you to take everything down after the holidays?
Usually takedown, I can usually get it down in about a month. Obviously, I start with the yard the very first day, so January 2nd, I'll be out there in the yard, getting the yard stuff taken down as much as I can, and from there, it just depends on, honestly, the weather. Obviously, I can't be on the roof if there's snow and ice, if it's too cold, so usually I try to get the yard knocked down. It is a lot faster to take down than it is to put up.
Kevin Schaeffler asks, do you plan on flashing lights to music in the future?
Kevin, if you're talking about the whole house flashing to some light-o-rama system, no. Honestly, since I was a kid, I've actually hated flashing lights. As you see in my display, the house stays standstill, and then I have some flash 20,000 light little show in the yard. I will pretty much add to like yard stuff, but no, I will never have my whole house flashing. I appreciate everyone who does do that stuff. It is cool to me, but for a picture standpoint, when you want to take pictures, as some of you have seen, it's hard to get a picture with all the lights on. So just imagine over 120,000 lights flashing, what that would do. So me personally, for my own personal display, I know I will not have my whole entire display flashing to a light-o-rama system.
Chris Beck asks, how do you tie your lights together around your house with little gaps?
Chris, so the lights on the walls, how they work is I made a fixture and I drilled holes all the way around underneath the eave spouts every 5 inches. I installed a hook in all those holes, and then I stringed the lights down. I put a stake in the ground with the hook on it, and then that's how you do the wall lights. Obviously, my house is stucco, So it's not like my old house that I had in the city of Delaware where I was able to use siding clips to hold it in place.
Tanya Hellman asks, how much is your electric bill?
Um, I get that asked a lot. My electric bill, last year alone, it went up $500 over the normal usage. This house, just to run it, the budget of the house is $290 a month due to the size of it. So you basically take the $290 plus $500 for the Christmas lights, and that kind of tells you what my electric bill is. This year, obviously, I put a lot of LED lights up, but I also have the roof using a lot of power. The roof alone is using almost 100 amps of power just to power because it's non-LED. So I expect my electric bill to probably go up additional probably $600 on top of the $290 for my budget plan.
Karen Ferrand asks, when you were a little boy, what was your Christmas like? Did your parents have the love of Christmas lights like you? And is this how you got started because of your childhood?
No, my family was not big into all these Christmas lights like I am. Actually, the Christmas lights thing kind of started when I was a little bit younger, hanging Christmas lights with my dad. When I got about 12, 13 years old, I started doing the Christmas lights actually myself outside. I would save up some of my allowance money and actually buy Christmas lights. When I was 16 and actually had a job and worked, I actually bought a lot of lights for my mom's house. Nothing crazy. But I was in charge of basically all the decorating. Honestly, all this started from watching Christmas Vacation, obviously, and I always said I was going to cover my house one day, and this is my 11th year doing my displays.
Tony Long asks, how many lights were you at before you had to start adding extra electric boxes?
At my last house, my highest was a little over 50,000 lights. There was no LED lights over there, so I had to add about 12 outlets out there. At that house, I had 12 outlets. Each one had its own 20 amp breaker. This house, I have installed 2 outside sub panels that are 100 amps a piece that I did myself because I do know electrical work a little bit. This house actually has over 20 plugs with its own 20 amp breaker, and that's why I had to start switching the LED. Is because it's not going to, I don't have enough power for my house to be able to supply the demand that normal non-LED lights produce.
Erica Ludhart asks, do you plan to keep adding lights or displays?
Yes, I would like to add more lights. Like I said, probably next year, hopefully I'm almost to 100% LED. LED will allow me to add so many more lights. I mean, perfect example, 30,000 LED lights can be plugged into one outlet, and it only takes about 17 amps of power compared to 40,000 like on the roof. The roof alone is taking 6 plugs up right now just to power the roof, but I can do that on literally a plug and a half of their LED lights. So yes, next year I would like to try to get the roof to LED and then take the roof lights and put them in the yard, and then eventually get those yard lights to LED also.
Dennis Surgener asks, have you ever thought about getting a piece of land and doing a huge drive/walkthrough exhibit and make it a huge pay exhibit?
You know, it's one of those things, you never know how life is really going to be. You know, if I start having kids and they want to have, like, you know, 4-wheelers and toys like that, obviously I'm going to have some more land. And it would be great because I could do as big as I want whenever I wanted, and I would have to answer to anyone when I do it. It's something that, you know, I don't really have a true answer for right now. It just depends on what I do later on in life.
What do you grow in all of the raised planter beds?
The raised beds outside are actually going to be for landscaping. Hopefully this year I can get all my landscaping in. I have a full blueprint diagram of all the plants and stuff, so that's what those areas are for, are actually for bushes and flowers and things like that. So hopefully next year I'll have some bushes in there, so then I can start putting lights on all those.
Jessica White asks, I know that you love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is a good choice. What are your favorite scenes, and did you say before that this movie inspired you to decorate your house the same as well?
Actually in that movie, he had only 25,000 lights. As you know, I'm at 120,035 lights. My light count is kind of important to me. because I do not increase it or lie about it. My light count is to the T. I would say some of my favorite parts in that movie is when he goes outside and the lights aren't working and he gets aggravated, and then his wife goes inside, flips the switch, and they all come on, and then she shuts it back off, and he gets aggravated because I've been out in the yard before when things aren't working, been aggravated, and I know how frustrating it can be. That, and when Cousin Eddie showed up, that was a pretty funny scene as well. And I would think probably the third one would probably be the squirrel scene when it jumped out of the tree. There's a lot of parts of the movie I really enjoy, and when those lights finally work, and that joy he gets in his eyes is exactly the joy I get in my eyes. For some of you that were here on opening night, of what it does to me, I'm like a little kid inside when I turn those lights on for the first time.
Ashley Robinson asks, how did you get started? Who is the family behind you that supports you? And what's your favorite thing about this tradition that you've started?
Ashley, I actually got started, like I said before, and one of the other questions was when I was like a teenager buying lights at my mom's house. When I bought my last house, and 2008 was my first big display of a total of 19,000 lights. I thought it was like the craziest thing ever. Everyone else thought it was crazy. My favorite thing I think about the tradition and about doing my lights is actually just not all for me, but it's for all the families, right? Christmas is a special time of the year. It's about making memories, spending time with your friends and family. A lot of people forget what Christmas is really about. It doesn't matter what your religion is or whatever, however you celebrate Christmas. The main thing is you make memories at Christmas time. You're taking pictures, you're looking at lights with all your family members, and that's what Christmas is all about. It's not necessarily about the presents and the gifts and how much money someone's going to spend on whatever. You know, I'm perfectly fine getting no presents, and and as long as I'm with someone or looking at lights and making memories, that's all that really matters. It's not about all these gifts and stuff, you know. So when I see my Facebook blow up and all these posts and people are out front and all these kids are smiling, even some of the adults, they get more excited than the kids do. Just like on opening night, there was probably 50 to 75 people out front, and maybe half of those were kids. And when those lights came on, the sound in their voices and the smiles on their faces was amazing. And that's what pays off when I do my display for me.
Abraham Kramer asks, where can I buy dancing lights at? Abraham Kramer asks, where can I buy dancing lights at?
My lights are actually ran by a small box made by Mr. Christmas. You can get online. They're a little bit over $100. And it's basically, you get it out of the box, you plug in all your extension cords, and you turn it to a couple settings in the music, and you're good to go. You can also do a light-o-rama thing. Light-o-rama is a lot more detailed, and you actually have to write your own patterns and stuff, almost like writing music. So if it's like if you just want something small and easy, kind of like what I kind of do with mine, I would say get online, Google Mr. Christmas music box, and you'll see it pop up. They're about $130. Mine I've had for a few years, and it's been great. I do want to upgrade eventually so I can do the FM radio thing so people can hear it. But that's how you basically do the dancing lights.
Tiffany Boyle asks, will you be doing drone videos and photos of your house this year?
Tiffany, yeah, I actually just got a hold of my neighbor. He has a very, very good drone that's good at nighttime. My drone does not do the best pictures at nighttime. So I've been trying to get him to come out and do that for me. We still have about 2 weeks left to get that done, but the sooner the better, because I know I'm excited to see the drone images, and then everyone else is too.
The final question is from Ann English, who asks, are your neighbors supportive?
Yes, I actually do have some very supportive neighbors over my Christmas display, especially the ones on both sides of me and then across the street. It's actually amazing because you would think you have so many lights, you know, people are going to hate it. And it's not always the case. My neighborhood is full of children, and that's what brings out the good in all this. You know, the children love it. They know me by name. They tell me how well they love my lights, and the parents see that joy in their children. And even some of the parents get excited about my display. Like, what are you going to do this year? You know, it's you're always going to have a Grinch in every neighborhood, right? Unfortunately, this neighborhood, there's a lot more Grinches. But there are some really good people in this neighborhood that support me. Just like on my Facebooks, I have probably over 60, 70 neighbors in my neighborhood that are actually on there, that see all the pictures and all that, and I have no conflict. I did make the comment about my neighbor the other day who likes to hold her horn in and acts like a child because cars are kind of backing up along my house. This particular neighbor, you know, she likes to drive 40 miles an hour through our neighborhood, which is a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and run our stop sign. You know, she's obviously a Grinch. She's not supportive of my Christmas lights, and it's sad because she makes herself look bad when people are out there and she's holding her horn in like a child, pushing people through the intersection, and then she runs a stop sign, which in return can actually endanger children that are crossing the street to come see my Christmas light display. Like I said, every neighborhood's going to have a Grinch in it, right? She particularly, that night when I posted that, wanted to go off on me online for 3 hours and tell me how, you know, the display is bad, and you know, you think you're so popular, and what I should do with my donations, and blah 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 blah. I ended up blocking her husband, because they both wanted to keep on trying to make comments. And then the next morning I wake up and then she's trying to blow up all over the internet on all my pages to try to give me bad reviews. You know, it doesn't hurt my feelings because everyone knows it's the biggest display in this side of part of Ohio. So she obviously is miserable in her own life. But like I said, a lot of my neighbors are very supportive. They just like to try to stay out of all the drama because there are some pretty nasty people that live in this neighborhood. But, you know, life's too short, and I'm just going to start blocking those people on all social media platforms when they try to be negative. And then there's no way to contact me unless if they come to my door, which they won't. They're not going to do that. But like I said, Christmas is about making memories and about joy. It's not about people honking their horn, trying to be nasty, trying to make comments to me, and going off on me for 3 hours on Instant Messenger. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Many of you neighbors who are very supportive of me and are on my Facebook, you know how I am. I stand my ground, and I don't let anyone walk on me. And that is something that I was brought up to be. And like I told this neighbor, I said, the average age of my family is 90 years old, so they have about 57 more years of me. And I will stand my ground no matter what. I will have no one walk on top of me. I wanted to say thank you for all your support to everyone, my neighbors that are supportive of me. Thank you for bringing all your families out. Thank you for people that drive from Cleveland, Ohio, and other far places to see my lights. I really, really appreciate all your support. I mean, this year literally blew up. I mean, I filled up a whole Facebook of 5,000 friends. My page is almost up 5,000 people there. And that's not including everyone that comes to see it. That's just finds me off Google, off my webpage, off the news, things like that. But I want to say thank you very much for your support. And I hope you and your family have a very Merry Christmas.